Good, beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today I have with me the energy of Archangel Michael, who says it's really important for you to understand that you must awaken your soul. There are so many, he says, of us that are stuck in our ego, in our places of fear and anger, jealousy, judgment, sensationalization. You have lost yourself in the world, and you need to awaken yourself to understand that you are not meant to be lost. You are meant to be living in joy and experiencing your life as you were meant to experience your life. He says many of you are trapped in your anger and your fear, believing they are more real than the very existence of your own soul. That your anger and your fear and your suffering have eclipsed who you are. And you need now more than ever to remember who you are. As a soul, a spiritual consciousness, come into this earth to experience creation, to delight in creation. He says you have to really learn how to distinguish yourself from your judgments, your anger, your fear. And you need to really understand that the only way you will truly know the God that so many of you call to, who in your mind's eye seem to not answer you, cannot be heard in your fear. The God that you want to hear you cannot hear him because you are in your fear. You are in your anger. You're in your judgment. And it's time to free yourself. It's time to end the needless suffering that you put yourselves through. You can hide behind many houses and many cars and much money. You can hide behind that, but you will still continue to suffer if you are disconnected from the very source of life and love that allows you to exist and live as you do. You need to awaken your soul, and the only way you can is by surrendering your fear and your anger and your judgment. It's the only way you will begin to remember yourself as you really, truly are, as a sentient, incredible, adored being. And you may lament that you're not being heard. And it's not that you are not being heard, you are not hearing. You cannot hear love through fear's ears. You cannot. You cannot hear love through anger. You cannot hear love through pointing fingers. You can only hear love when your mind is still and you are free of its entrapments, free of the stories that have been made up for you and by you. Oh, God is listening all the time, and you simply cannot hear. There is nothing wrong with you. You simply need to learn to hear. And I came here simply to tell you the truth, that there is, in truth, nothing wrong with you, except that you choose to believe that somehow you're isolated and alone, and nothing can be further from the truth. Many of you are in crowds with people still feeling separate because the one that you need to be closest to can only be heard from within you. And while many of you must understand that there's a function of your soul that is very different than the function of who you pretend to be. And you've been taught to pretend that you are the name that they've given you. And you've been taught to pretend you are a certain way. And you've forgotten how to honor and love the sacred temple that was given to you. And it's time to remember the great love and delight that is here and now for you in the remembrance and the revelation of yourself to yourself. And when you know yourself, that's when you will begin to hear the voice of that which you pray to. Your mother, your father, your idols whom you would choose to ask for guidance. You cannot hear them in fear unless, of course, they're idols of fear. They're idols of anger and power and authority and control. Then you will hear them quite easily. They'll say, do this and get even with them and better do that to them. And it's important you learn to make the distinction from who you are and who you've been made to be. You are already fashioned in the image and likeness of a divinity that far surpasses anyone's conception of you and even your own conception of yourself. That when you experience the nature of your soul, you will never, ever want to look back on anger or fear or judgment. When you are embraced in the experience of being the divine, when you're embraced in the experience of being the divine, in that experience, you remember who you truly are, seen and reflected in the eyes of the great one that loves you, honors you, and fashioned you after his image and likeness. When you begin to see yourself not through the eyes of man, and you begin to remember yourself as the creation of love, as the product of the creation of love, your world will be significantly different than what it currently is. You will be significantly different than what you have ever been. As you will begin to see yourself in the light and in the way that is true to who you truly are. You want to remember yourself as you truly are. And the only way to remember yourself as you truly are is to give up and surrender your anger, your fear, your judgment, your doubt. They are not you. You are not your anger. You are not your doubt. You are not your fear. And others are not the cause of it. You can release. You can let go. And remember that you are a divine soul. You are a divine soul inhabiting a body. And you have been convinced to believe certain fundamental ideas about who you are that you were taught to believe. And if you begin to question your anger and your fear and your judgment, if you begin to question it, you'll ultimately find that the source of it may not have been you. You are not anger. You are not fear. You are not guilt. You are not shame. You are not the finger pointing. That is something that you have learned here. And it is not who you are. In the awakening of your soul, when you awaken to what you are, and you experience yourself in the light that represents accurately what you are, you will never want to harm another. You would never want to judge another. You would never be in a hurry. In the nature of your soul, patience and compassion and kindness, curiosity and playfulness and wonder, amazement, respect, dignity are all facets of your beautiful soul that you are. And as long as you remain attached to your anger and your judgment, you cannot hear the divine voice that's saying to you, I am with you. I love you. I will take care of you. That does not necessitate that you would give up responsibility for being your best self. A greater expression of love, a greater expression of creativity, a greater expression of kindness and respect, not only towards your own being, that is your physical being. You need to cherish the body that you have. It is such an exquisite and remarkable creation, your body. There is not another one like it in all of existence. And you can cherish it and understand it and love it as you would a pet. You can treat your body with such wonder and appreciation and respect that the divine in you will react and respond to that. So you're respecting my creation. The simple function of pain and pleasure will reveal to you whether or not the actions that you are engaging in towards your body are beneficent towards it or detrimental to it. The body is not even yours. You say it is my body, but you did not build that body. It was a gift to you. It remains a gift to you to use, cherish, and even abuse if you so choose to. It is the faithful servant, the steed you get to ride through the journey of your life. And the journey of this physical life is profound in that it gives you the opportunity to remember yourself in a way that's very difficult to remember yourself without a physical body to learn to do so. I and many other archangels have come to that understanding, which is why we do not necessarily need physical embodiment in order to exist. We've remembered what we are. We recognize we are not a body. We are not a mind. We are not the words. We are spirit, functioning from a vibrational state of love that is among you right now. We are all among you. And as I've said, as equally as you cannot hear the voice of God or that which you would worship and hope for guidance and assistance, in your fear, you cannot hear. In your anger, your ears are closed also. For where there is fear, how can there be trust? How can there be hope? So learning how to surrender your fear, your anger, your judgment precipitates the function of awakening to your own soul. This statement, you must lose yourself to find yourself, means that you learn to differentiate between the body, the mind, and yourself. That you're simply a grand collage of thoughts and memories and emotions from this life and others. But you are a divine and sentient being in a process of creation. And we are here in great numbers, recognizing that humanity as a whole needs to proverbially pull its socks up. That anger, that fear, that judgment, much of which was given to you for those that made mistakes that would cause difficulty and harm to others in the attempt to avoid responsibility for their errors, have caused harm to others. And that can be corrected if you choose to awaken. You do not need another to awaken you if you simply learn how to let go of your fear, your anger, your judgment, your guilt, your shame, your uncertainty. They are not you. They are of your mind and of this world. You are a soul. And many of you wrestle with your thoughts and your memories and your emotions, feeling confused and uncertain perhaps. But that is not your natural state. That you are wrestling with illusions, with ideas and beliefs you've been given that do not accurately reflect the incredible soul that you are. much of what is in your mind does not accurately reflect the incredible soul that you are. There are individuals that have great knowledge and wisdom that suffer even with such grand knowledge and wisdom because they have not remembered who they are essentially as a divine emissary of God, which is what you all are. You are divine emissaries of God in creation that you get to create in this world. And you get to make wonderful things, and you get to have the freedom to make errors and mistakes, all in the hope that ultimately you will remember and you will awaken your soul to remember who you are. And I've come simply here to remind you that you are a soul that needs to awaken. The human collective soul needs to awaken. The process has been started. The disproportionate energy between fear and love on this planet poses a significant condition of change. The vibrational energy quotient on the planet between love is, in your language, 60% to 40%. That is, 60% of the collective consciousness of humanity is in fear, and 40% of the collective consciousness of humanity is in love. And this imbalance will ultimately be reflected, if it is sustained and maintained, in manifestations of time and space that will favor the dominant energy. Much the same way as you can hear music in two ears, different songs from different places, and you will hear the one that is loudest. The one that is loudest will influence you. Well, the vibration that your human collective is working upon, that dominant energy of fear, is causing effects and changes and transformations in your experience of this realm of earth. Equally to the assertion of the vibration of love has its influence. And like any imbalance, there will come a rebalance, unless the balancing process is initiated as an act of your collective will. Your collective will can be initiated. That means you need to begin to awaken to who you are, because you are made in the image of a creative divine intelligence, made in its image and likeness, and can create in a similar fashion. And understanding the distinction in yourself between love and fear and choosing one versus the other will furnish the transformation that is necessary. That is, if you do not wish to experience what in your biblical times would be called the great floods and the other disasters that befell humankind, because again, they got lost in the function of their lower nature, their fear, their anger, their survival impetuses. And so the time of awakening is now. It is in the overall spectrum of the lifetime of a human individual, a very short period of time, some 20 or less years. It's a very short period of time, this window that you have collectively as a human body, to shift the collective quotient of energy from fear to love. It is ideal to get to 51% of love and 49% of fear to bring about a balance in the process, as the polarity of function is necessary in this dimension for creation to occur. But an imbalance, even in your physical body, will precipitate certain functions occurring to establish rebalance. So too, on the grand cosmic scale, the same thing is true. On the human collective scale, this is true. On the planetary scale, this is true. But no more in your human collective do you have greater influence over this solar system than you do right now. Your planetary systems are struggling because the vibrational energy that you predominantly work with still is fear. And this is not out of a willful act to cause difficulty. It is simply not understanding and awakening to you the fact that you are a divine soul. You are a divine soul. You are not your fear. You are not your anger. You are not the guilt and shames that you've been acquiring from this life and others. The awakening of your soul means that you learn how to suspend your attachment to certain emotional predispositions that you've been carrying around, that you've inherited, that you've been handed down to you. And it is not that difficult a process to awaken yourself. When you can, even in a few moments' time, turn your attention away from your fear, away from your anger, and look away from it and experience what is there when you're not looking at it. When you're not looking at the distractions of the world that have been given to you, the limits, the fears, when you turn your attention away from them, you will recognize a different sensation in yourself. And that momentary shift can begin the great shift in your consciousness and also aid human collective consciousness in that shift as well. It is and must be a consciously selected decision on your part to awaken, to surrender your fear, your anger, your guilt, your shame, and restore the function of your being to love. The collective nature of that will be readily available for you to see in the immediate world around you and also in the greater world. The function of creation is not restricted or limited to any one individual. There are others that have a greater understanding of its versatility, how to utilize qualities of emotion in the fabrication of experiential reality. But there is some training in that. The larger percentage of humanity is not well aware of the idea that you can change, transform, and transmute emotional energy, that you can literally take the energy that you struggle with and use it as a mechanism to catapult you forward into freedom and joy and love. You have that capacity within you at all times. And my primary message to you is you need to awaken your soul, and you do so by distinguishing yourself from your fear, your anger, your guilt, your shame. Even the act of projecting or judging others keeps you in the very thing that you would judge them about. Even judgment will keep you in that which you judge. Judge not that you be not judged. So if you judge others, you will be in that judgment that you place upon others. You will be in that energy yourself. So if you're going to judge, then judge righteously, which is more towards the spectrum of love than the spectrum of fear. Look for the good and go about doing the good. You have such a wonderful opportunity here. Even though the window is very short, the capacity for human collective consciousness is far greater than any physiological, astrological, or astrophysical effects. The stuff of the world can be greatly affected by the quality of your consciousness. It has been all along, and always shall be the quality of your consciousness. Whether you choose to be in the quality of fear or love, the quality of your consciousness is orchestrating all of your affairs. Not one amongst you on this planetary system is outside of the venue of that process of creation. Those that you think are in control of you are an equal participant in the process as you are. The distinction being that they have a different understanding of their capacity to influence time, space, and matter than you do. But you all have the same potential within you the moment you begin to awaken your soul. Certain functions of emotion and thought precipitate very specific functions in in being and behavior and environment. So it's time to awaken your souls. It is time to awaken. Awaken yourself. Awaken. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are a soul. You are not that body. It is a vehicle. So if you want to hear us, you can hear us. But you need to learn how to hear. You cannot hear love through fear's ears, nor gain wisdom through anger's voice. It is only through the stillness of your being that you can truly hear what we are saying, where you will be answered by your divinity, where God, the angels, even your loved ones can answer you when you're not attached to your suffering and your fear. And it will be a wonderful opportunity for you to experience that, and an even greater opportunity for humanity as a whole to realize that the changing of seasons, the events and circumstances of your environment can be greatly influenced and affected by you collectively, and are so being. Many of you still believe that something outside of you is the power that causes what occurs, and from the scientific principle that measures the effects of things upon things, it would appear that way. But I can assure you that it is a function of your creative consciousness, individually and collectively, that has precipitated the great changes that have happened on this planetary body for many millions of years. The function of your soul is not limited to the finite nature of a single physical body. The soul is eternal. You as a soul are eternal. Your body is finite. That is the way it has been, and that is the way it always will be. There comes a point when you remember who you are that, well, you just don't need the same things that you think you do. It is nice to have good things, and it's a wonderful thing. But if they come from the functions of fear, then you may take advantage of other people, but you will affect the overall function of the collective experience of humanity in a negative way. If your acts are good and kind and righteous, then you'll have a different effect on the collective outcomes of your consciousness. So remember this. Remember this well. It is time to awaken your soul. You did not come here to learn anything other than who you are and what you are able to create from what you are being. And the being of love creates very differently than the being of fear. You can look around you and see the effects of the creations of fear. And you can look around and see the effects of the creations of love. And in all of that, the most important consideration is that you remember who you are, that you learn how to distinguish yourself from your thoughts, your memories, your emotions, your biology, and then how to utilize your perception of the self as you experience yourself to be in the essence of what you are, and apply that towards your mind and body, and create very differently than you have been. For from love, from your true nature, you'll speak and you will live and you will be very differently, and your life will be very different than what you've been taught to think and feel and believe. Unless, of course, what you've been taught to think and feel and believe is based upon the foundations of love, then what you've been taught to think, feel, and believe is very good. But from our observance, we can see that the larger percentage of you have been taught to believe in the things that you fear. And that something you know not what has greater power over your creative process and your experience in this world than you do. And that is simply and ultimately not the truth. So you have this wonderful opportunity to awaken your soul. The time is now. There are simple and easy ways to do this. It is not a very complex problem to turn your eyes away from fear. Your mythologies of religion have many stories of individuals who were faced with looking at the evil or looking away from it. And those that looked at it became paralyzed by it, as many of you find yourself trapped and impaired by your lower vibrational emotional energies, which are not your natural state. But you can learn very easily if you're willing to put a certain period of time aside for yourself, to remember yourself, to let your mind go, to put your body aside for a while, that you can begin to experience and recall and remember the divine nature of your consciousness, to experience yourself independent of your thoughts and your memories and emotions. Imagine that you can do that. We will show you if you can listen. If you ask, we will tell you what you need to do, what you can do to liberate yourself from the enslavement you have to your own limitations and mind. It is not a complex or difficult process. And what you will do when you awaken from your sleep will be very different than the dream you had while you were sleeping. And it is time to awaken. We are here and we are with you. And it is your time. Or you may choose again to not awaken. There is no force of will here, just the natural compulsion that we have to offer our wisdom and knowledge in the way that we can, that in our hope you will be able to receive it. But again, you cannot hear love through fear's ears, nor can you see love through anger's eyes, but you can through love, through your true nature, through remembering and reconnecting to yourself, and not letting the egoic structure that the world has given you be the only thing that defines you. We will show you. We will guide you very simply along the way. It is a simple and easy to follow process of awakening. You can awaken. You need not suffer anymore. Awakening can be just a few breaths away. Peace, a minute from where you are. We can assure you, we've done this many times. We have participated in our delusion. The angels, the saints, the divine entities, we have all come this way through the illusion, through the suffering, through the Maya of it all, to awaken to the truth. And those of you that hear these words will know by how you hear them, if you heard them with your fear or if you've heard them with love. For something inside you will stir when the truth is presented to you. It always does. Just as something will stir inside you if fear is presented to you. But the truth has a very different, compelling nature to it. It just is a feeling inside you that you know, this is right inside me. There's something about that book or those words or that person that is just right. Because your soul will always know the difference between fear and love. You will always know the difference between fear and love if you can pay attention and let yourself be aware that you have in you the contrasting perceptions that will allow you to choose love over fear. And that is quite wonderful from our perspective, that you can do that. That you can certainly do that. Yes. Thank you, Michael. I want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning. Good to see you here. Hi, Drusilla. The courses are channeled. Yes, that's something else you need to know. Our masterclass, if you're interested in truly awakening your soul, you want to take Masterclass 101 Awakening, where I channel the Ascended Masters, other archangels, other multidimensional beings, and other humans that have left the physical dimension but want to help humanity from the other side. And you will learn how to connect to them yourself. You'll learn how to connect to your loved ones if that's what you need to do in this period. But it's a really simple, easy to follow method for them to go from zero to hero, from going from that place of suffering to that place of bliss. And you'd be surprised how quickly that can actually happen. It's been a miracle and a wonder for me to be able to channel this information and these beings that provide it to us, and to watch how their words and their actions and the way they guide us through the process lead you to freedom. And we've watched people that have been in depression for years, and suddenly they're no longer in depression. People who thought there was they were in a dead end with their life. There was nowhere else to go. They were stuck. They had all the things they needed. They would have their home, their property, but they were stuck in their life, and now they're free. Or people that were dealing with physical conditions that they did not know how to deal with. They tried going to doctors. They tried many things, and they awakened their soul. Your soul can do things that your mind cannot do. Your soul can do things that transcend certain physical laws. And you see this in mystics, and you see this in individuals that walk across beds of coals, burning hot coals, or the Shaolin monks who can place a pointed razor sharp spear in their throat and break the spear shaft and not puncture their skin. There's something that they have awakened. They've awakened their soul and can do very different things with their mind and their body from their soul. And you'll learn how to do that. Thank you for that super chat. Who's this? Amanda. Hi, Amanda. Hi, William. I found I had fawns that show up in my dreams, and they left through the ground, or was it a porthole? Would love to have a message on this. What Michael's telling me is to tell you this quite simply. You're beginning to remember the source of your innocence and truth, not only in yourself, but in the loved one closest to you. You are remembering the innocence of both of you. I want to tell you that this will greatly benefit your child and the child to come. You're now beginning to remember your innocence. What a delight. Remembering your innocence. That's beautiful. He says it's not a porthole to anything other than the love that you always have been seeking. It's wonderful. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. It's an amazing thing. Hi, Drusilla. Good to see you. Hi, guys. I just see this over here. Sorry if I do a little squinting. I left my glasses in another room. My eyes will still see if I coax them a little bit, right? Because you can do things with the body that the body itself cannot do, right? So, question on TikTok. It's been so long since I've seen your lives, but I feel like I need to sit here for a minute and listen. I'm really glad that you did, Ashley. Go sign up for Masterclass 101 Awakening. Like you will be completely transformed. Masterclass 101 Awakening. Go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, or click the link tree link on my TikTok bio. I watch so many people come into our program, and it never ceases to amaze me that when the guides, the angels, the ascended masters that speak through me and teach through me, how much they impact people's lives. Sometimes in seconds. We've had people who've been carrying around decades of pain and suffering, and all of a sudden you just see it just leave them in a torrent of tears, or in a revelation of bliss. It's unique and distinct. Yeah, but he wants me to tell you it's not just unique and distinct. There's a process the different steps that are mapped out in the course that will lead anybody who follows them to a specific outcome. And that's, yes, I will. That's the really important thing about it. Michael wants me to just tell you that process will lead anybody that follows it, if they follow it sincerely, to an inevitable outcome. That is ultimately the revelation of your soul, yourself to yourself. And what can be greater than to remember who you are, to know thyself, the I am that you are. Because when you know that self, you will not be trapped by your human configuration. You'll begin to hear and see and feel and know very differently than what you have been seeing, hearing, feeling, and knowing from the perspective of your personality. It's a wonderful time for you. A wonderful time for humanity, potentially speaking. Again, because this is all very, very temporary. The body that you're in right now is a very temporary thing. It won't be your last rodeo, but it's certainly a lot more exciting when you can watch, and we've seen this in many civilizations, where the collective shifted itself from fear to love and evolved itself out of physicality. Whole civilizations evolved to their divinity. And there, of course, there's a very different experience of being and living in that condition of society, where they no longer needed the physical world as a mechanism of an instrument of learning. Your civilization collectively is poised into that potential, but as I have said earlier, the mathematical ratio of 60% to 40% with a 20-year window is an achievable goal. But we've seen others that were closer that did not do so well, but restarted the program again, because you cannot fail in eternity. In eternity, you will ultimately succeed. But to watch an entire civilization awaken is a wonderful thing. And to see what happens to the world when that happens to the people that inhabit it. New whole worlds come into existence. The world transforms. And you can shift that right now. Thank you so much for that super sticker, Sacred Heart Channel. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Irene's asking, Michael, will I meet the man of my dreams soon? Anything my guides can say? You'll meet. This is a challenge that a lot of people are facing, and they finally told me this. If the man of your dreams is what you've created in your mind, it's different than the man that you want to be your soulmate. When you awaken your soul, the vibrational function of attraction is very different than the vibrational function of attraction based on the structure of your personality. Your fears, your doubts, your uncertainties are creative in nature. And if you harbor doubt and fear, then you're in a process of utilizing doubt and fear as a mechanism of the creation. But in the function of your soul, when you are awakened to your soul, your function of creation is very different than what your human self will facilitate. You need to make your human self in the image and likeness of what you are, which is a function of love. And you cannot understand what you are as a function of until you experience yourself as that. So this wonderful dear one is always waiting. There is a vibrational alignment that you must establish in your own consciousness to be the function of yourself as love. Then that which is like you will be around you, as what is like you, what you believe you are, what you think you are, is around you all right now. Your world around you right now, as it is for each and every one of you, is an exact representation of what you believe, what you are attached to in your mind. And you can get unattached to the ideas and beliefs in your mind that do not serve you. And you can get connected to the ideas and beliefs that are so effervescent with love that you could not have what you would desire. For love brings into your life what love brings into your life, as fear brings into your life what fear brings into your life. And you can look at your life right now and you can say, my life is because of what I have in me, what I believe. And when you can let go of that which does not serve you, when you can have a process in place that lets you let go of fear that fast, to release anger from your body from years and even lifetimes, that so many of you carry emotional traumas from lifetimes, that you can release them in minutes in simple and easy ways to follow. You can release lifetimes of suffering. And not only for yourself, but for those around you. For when you change your energy, it is like beautiful music. When you shift from fear to love, your love is like a wonderful piece of music, and people will feel that, and you will influence and affect the world with that. Just as you can influence and affect the world with your attachment to your suffering. But let us say to you very clearly, your love is the key to the love of your life. Your fear and your uncertainty will maintain your fear and uncertainty. And yet you can learn to let it go. There are simple things you can learn in a very short time. Even if you've learned these things over lifetimes, or even just this lifetime, simple, easy to follow practices will reveal to you how to let go of that anger, that doubt that stands in the way of you and your manifestations. Because that's all it is. It is only fear and its children that you harbor in yourself that would keep from you what love would give you. For love will always give you what love is, as fear will always give you what fear is. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. There's a super chat here from Hello, Sacred Heart Channel. Thank you. Hey, William. It's Kimberly from class. I just wanted to say thank you for helping me awaken and showing me how to choose love over fear. Well, I want to say thank you, Kimberly, for being a participant. You've been an amazing student, and I have to give credit to the Ascended Masters, the multidimensional beings, to God, to Jesus, to Buddha, the ones that work with me as well. Without them, this would not be happening. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so happy for you, because I've watched your light just get so bright. And I remember when you first came into the program and where you are now, it's literally like watching a light bulb being turned into a high intensity spotlight. It's wonderful. And as I see that with many of the others, I know Jasmine and many of those students we've had over the years that literally surrender their fear, their anger, their guilt and shame is no longer governing their life anymore. Imagine that you can learn simple things that will show you how to let go of your anger, your fear, your guilt, your shame, like taking clothing off that you no longer need anymore. You just, getting rid of the old clothing for new clothing. Get rid of the attire of fear and put on the attire of love. So happy for you. So grateful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you so much. I love you too, Drusilla. Thank you for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Hi. Your eyes are ethereal. It takes one to know one. If you're seeing it, it's because you're recognizing that you're seeing Michael's energy coming through me right now. Because when they channel through me, their energy comes through me. It's the most wonderful phenomenon. To allow God or Jesus or Buddha or Archangel Michael or Raphael, Joan or Arc, many others will speak through you when you learn how to tune into their energy, right? Because you can receive what you're tuned in. If you're tuned into fear, you'll receive different energy, right? But I'm so grateful. Thank you for that wonderful comment. And if you're seeing it, that means there's a part of you that's seeing the light in you. You're seeing the light that represents that Michael is, that aspect is in you too. One of the things my guardian angel John said to me to say, William, if you're seeing it, you're being it, right? If you're seeing it, you're being it. It's a very beautiful thing, right? Wonderful. Thank you so much for saying that. I love that comment. You are a soul, that person. Yes, you are. Soul Awakening said, yeah, for those of you that want to take the course and get registered, you've only got 3 weeks to do it. Masterclass 101 Awakening. Go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and sign up. Don't miss your spot. It's an incredible course, and it's a 3-week long course. You're going to be experiencing at least one live event every day from Sunday to Friday each week. Every event is recorded, so you won't miss a single event. Every recorded lesson is put up on a Facebook group wall, so you don't have to worry about your schedule. You'll receive an itinerary before the course begins that maps out all the events and the links to those events in advance. You'll also receive a study guide that will give you the detailed information about what to expect in the course and what you're going to learn in it. And with your study guide and your itinerary, you can plan your schedule if you want to be part of the in-person live events, which happen again from Sunday right through till Friday. We also have our nutritional component, so you're going to learn how to change the food you eat so it shifts the vibration of your body. We got a wonderful professional holistic nutritionist who will give you new ways to elevate the energy of your body. You can ask her questions and learn from him. And we also have a wonderful team of other mediums that will guide you into such things as sound bathing and telepathy and connecting your guides and angels and learning about the function of divination tools and how you can use them to connect to source. Because ultimately, you can connect to the divine within you at all times, anywhere, once you learn how to do that. Yeah, once you learn how to do that.
And a community on Facebook.
Yeah, and we have a community on Facebook too. So part of the group wall is a Facebook community. So during your class, the people in your class, you'll be able to interact with them 24/7. We have a chat group, and all the videos from the live events are put up on the group wall. So you get a chance to experience the replays if you want to, and you can do the meditations again and again. Meditations happen on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. There's a lesson from an ascended master or a guardian angel or an archangel. And on Tuesdays, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, you have Desiree Nicole Smith, who's one of our mediums, and you have Mary Hernandez, who's also one of our mediums, who will work with you on the different facets of the practices that we talked about that will allow you to open up these internal channels and facilitate you in letting go of your fear. And then, of course, we have Rita on Thursdays, who will, again, runs a whole nutritional program and will give you a booklet on proper nutrition that's designed to help you shift your biological vibration from a lower state to a higher state. Because when your body's in a high energy state, it tends to be more productive, more able to take more in. And you some of you might need to shift your body's vibration from that state. Some people come into the program, they're very unhealthy. They leave the program, they're very healthy. At the very least, they're a lot healthier than they were when they came into the program. So you'll be experiencing not only a change in how you're going to, lifestyle choices you'll be making, but you'll be going into practices. You'll begin hearing directly from ascended masters, guardian angels, archangels. Sometimes you'll hear from other beings that you know, like David Hawkins or Stephen Hawkins, who sometimes come through as well. Sometimes you get beings like Yogananda. It's a wonderful thing when you realize that in you is the capacity to receive that information too. And again, the process you'll follow, because when you learn to distinguish yourself from the confines of your personality, what happens, you gain access to everything outside of that. So when you're not attached or focused on just who you think you are, and you learn how to shift your awareness away from that, then you gain access to a whole other realm of information and knowledge that your personality doesn't have for you. That's where you can begin to learn to hear your guides, hear your angels, communicate with your loved ones, because you can shift your awareness from limiting perceptions to unlimited considerations. And it's a very exciting thing. I'm very delighted, and it's a wonderful thing to go through. Sign up today. Don't waste any time. Thank you so much for that. Congratulations to you too. Is there anything my guides can say about how I've been feeling? Yeah, come and take the course. Sign up. You don't have to, you're not meant to be dragged around by your emotions. Your emotions are not you. They're energetic responses to beliefs and ideas you've mostly been given by the world. And you need to learn how to shift your awareness from attachment to your suffering to connection to your source, to your love. That's all it is. It literally, Buddha talks about all the time. He says the idea of non-attachment is simply learning how to let go, to not be attached to your anger, to not be attached to your guilt. He talks a lot about, what it means to know nothing is to know everything. It's very fascinating. When you come to the course, you'll hear directly from him and others that will be in the program. Very, very exciting. Thank you for that love, Jasmine. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you, David, for that super sticker. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so kindly. That's lovely. I'm surrendering and choosing love, tired of suffering. Sign up for the class. Like if you're done with your suffering, you'll be done with your suffering. If you're really done with it, then this is a class that you want to take, because this is a class that takes you out of that and shows you how to open the door, walk through it, and never go back again. Seriously. There are people that just don't go. Once you walk through that door, Jesus talks about it all the time. He says, once you give up the old cloth, you have the new cloth. And it's a very different process. When you walk away from your fear towards love, you'll know that you're free. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. Thank you, Drusilla. You are on the right path, Irene. Thank you, Pamela, for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Someone's saying, say yes to yourself and take the leap into Masterclass 101. It is life-changing, and it is life-changing. You'll become the you that you always were, not the you that you've been made to think you are, right? Someone's saying, obviously, take the course. It's so affordable. It's amazing. It's the perfect time. And by the way, the course is $199 for the 3 weeks. It will not be that price after this sequence of courses, which is we have the Masterclass 101 through 104. That will end probably around November, and after November, there will be a price change. So the price is going to go up significantly from what it is right now. It's that's how powerful this course is. We believe it's got that much value that people are willing, and we've been told you charge way too less for this program. So we're going to be correcting that now. But yeah, it's really affordable right now. Take advantage of the time that's still here. Someone else saying, yes, take the course. I've taken the courses before, and this one is different from anything I've seen out there. William takes his time with all of us. He's not rushed. He's full of integrity. And I have to be honest with you, that's them working through me. They work directly through me. And thank you so much. I do the best that I can in alignment with the guidance that I get, because I follow my guidance. And when you start getting guided by your angels, ascended masters, and the multidimensional beings, you'll be a whole new person. Because when you're getting information that the world cannot give you, it changes you. It completely changes you. Oh, that's cute, the octopus floating over my head. Is there anything my guides can say about how I've been feeling? Yeah, we got that. You need to take the courses. Is there anything Archangel Michael has for me? Yes. Spend time in peace. Your quickest path is to spend time in peace. I do not mean the peace if there's no noise around you. I mean the peace where you are undistracted by your thoughts and your memories and your expectations, that you put them all aside. Spend time in that peace, and you will find a door will open for you. Spend time in that peace. Wow, that's really cool. Thank you. Hi. Hi there. Where does the suffer and the vibrations of electricity come from after meditation? That's a really great question. So the question they're asking is from meditation, and we see this repeatedly and consistently. Several things happen in meditation for people, especially those doing it for the first time. Once you experience a properly guided meditation, we encourage our students to meditate on their own as well. But when you are brought through the process by the ascended masters or guardian angels or archangels, two things happen. The body begins to relax as you begin to disassociate from it, as you put the body into a deep, relaxed state, and you get the mind quiet. Then the function of the environment, that is the normal activity of your brain, is no longer influencing or affecting the chemistry, the neurology, and the biology of the body. It's no longer being influenced by your fears, your mind, your concerns, your doubts. You get the mind quiet and calm and peaceful. And in that moment, when the mind and body suddenly become quiet, calm, and peaceful, there's no impingement on the system, and there's a free flow of energy from your soul through the body. And what we often have happen to students will often say, I feel like I don't have a body. And then when they come back from the meditation, their body's vibrating because the mind has been out of the way and the body has a chance to recalibrate itself to its natural state, unimpinged by fears and doubts and wondering about this and wondering about that. So you're literally amplifying or increasing the flow of electrons through the body without any resistance. That would be a scientific way of putting it. The spiritual way of putting it is that you liberate your body from the mind. And so the energy of your awareness or your soul directly affects the body in the way that, you look at a little baby and they look so peaceful and contented. There's nothing affecting their nervous system. So they're in the vibration of bliss. They just don't know they're in the vibration of bliss. But that's ultimately in the shortest terms that I've been taught to understand that once you get the mind out of the way, the body and the soul have a very different experience. So that vibration, a very natural thing, that tingling sensation. And oftentimes we see people get healed from that. Depression will go away, anxiety will go away just by getting the mind out of the way. It's an amazing thing what happens. And again, they're very simple processes that you'll be taught to follow that will lead you on that journey. Right? It's a lot of fun. Let's see another question here. Do I find the link to start? Over? Thank you. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but if you want to find the link, it's on my link tree. The link tree link in my TikTok bio that will be available for you afterwards. You can click on my face and up on there, and you'll get a chance to get it from that way. The other option you have is you can go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, and you can connect there. And the link under the courses section, you'll find the course right there. Hi. How do I let go of these? Someone's saying, how do I let go of these limiting beliefs? I've been working on that the past week. You got 3 weeks. Sign up for Masterclass 101, and any limiting beliefs you have, you'll be able to let them go in the simplest and easy way. You don't have to go into deep diving analysis. You don't have to go back and relive it. In fact, most of the time we don't need to hear anything. The process itself makes the correction. The very process that you'll be shown and that you'll go through will naturally make the correction. So what happens? If a flower is wilting because it doesn't have enough water, you pour the water into the flower and it comes right back up. Once you give the mind and body the right energy, it naturally self-corrects. It's a self-correcting mechanism in the body. It's a wonderful thing. Hi. Someone says, I manifested a guitar yesterday. I've been putting it out to the universe, and out of nowhere, my mom calls me and found one for me. Since I started to do the courses, I am manifesting way quicker. And that's another thing, is you learn about the process of how you manifest, not how you let your mind manifest, because your mind is always interfering. What you've been taught to believe often interferes with what you want. And when you learn how to let go of the mind, like Buddha always says that you've got to let it go. Just let it go. People ask him, how do I let go of my fear? He says, just let it go. And you learn the process of that, how you actually let go, right? Question, is methylene blue good for me? I'm told yes, to tell you that. But they're saying in moderate amounts, slightly less than what one would normally recommend. Slightly less than what one would normally recommend. Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much. I've been through narcissist abuse 2 years ago. He created a lot of fear in me. Again, you want to overcome your fear because you did not come here to suffer. You came here to experience creation. And again, if you attracted narcissists, then inside you've got fear that pulled that into your life, right? And there's levels of discernment that obviously your past prevented you from having. But in Masterclass 101 Awakening, you literally awaken to your creative energy. When you start to remember, you will never attract that type of stuff again. You can't mix oil and water. You can't. And that's why you guys separated, because you were not energetically compatible. But you went through the trauma of those 2 years. So now you want to get into an energetic state that you know you are your bliss. You know you are love. Because when you know what love is, you'll know what it's not. You'll be able to tell by the way people speak to you, how they act around you. And you're going to learn all of that. Again, sign up for Masterclass 101 Awakening if you want, or you can also book a private session with me if you want to release in a very profound and intimate one-on-one setting. You can book a one-on-one reading with me. You can also find the link to that on my Linktree link in my TikTok bio, or go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, and you can book a one session, half hour or 1 hour with me. And that will be life-changing as well. Hi there. Hi, Emily. Grateful. Hey, Kimberly. Hi, Emily. Will there be a natural catastrophe soon? Understand they're natural only in the sense that people don't understand. You hear about humans are causing global warming and stuff like that, but not in the way you think. Not in our industry. The earth can manage our industry. We're not that big of a problem to the earth from that perspective. What we are causing with our emotional energy is more impactful upon the planet than what we are doing with our industry. Way more. The chemtrails, things like that, all those things that go around. It's our emotional energy that we need to shift collectively. And that's what Michael was talking about earlier. That we need to awaken to ourselves, to get out of our fear, get into the state of what we naturally are, and let our function of love make the correction. So from the perspective of the fear, yes, our emotional collective fear is causing events. mountains falling down, certain events and circumstances, the sun responding in some certain ways. The sun is the father of the planet Earth, right? The sun is the father of planet Earth. It's the father of all the planets in the solar system. And our emotional energy electrically connects to and interacts with not only the planet, but the greater solar system as well. Because of our dominant emotion of fear as a collective species, we are influencing time and space events. You know, you go to a concert and you listen to the concert and you see everybody getting into the music and they're jumping around, they're so excited, they're so happy, because the music induces the function of the people into that behavior. Well, so too, human collective emotion, our joy, our anger, our fear, induces a function of change in the environment. It's just on a more subtle level. It's an energetic level. And science has not reached the point yet where they can measure the emotional quantity of collective human energy yet. Although people like Carl Jung, who I've spoken to, have certainly recognized, and not just Carl Jung, many others recognize there is a hive mind on the planet. But most of us are in our individual mind not aware that there is this hive mind, but we're all contributing to it, whether we're aware of it or not. So to answer your question directly, yes, in the context of our existing fear paradigm, we are creating events and circumstances both on the planet and between the sun and the other planets. We are creating events. And we can shift and change those events. As Michael said earlier, there were civilizations where the whole civilization literally ascended. They left the physical dimension. A whole civilization, imagine. They all awakened to the true nature of love. They no longer needed this world to live in. They no longer need to be limited to this world. So yeah, in the sense that our emotional quotient of fear can create certain effects, that's what I would really say, that fear creates different effects in time and space, just like love creates different effects in time and space. It's a simple energetic realization. But we can correct it. The monks in Tibet, when the Chinese invaded Tibet, they used their connection and communion with nature to create rainstorms and windstorms and floods to try and to dissuade the invasion, right? So those are just a handful of monks. Imagine 9 billion of us uniting our energy in love. You know, like where we choose to be a function of what we truly are, the way God intended us to be as a function of love and goodness, and how that would impact the world and the environment. Because everything that humans do is based on our emotional energy. Everything that a human being does is based on their emotional energy. What you do here comes from an emotion. Every action originates from emotion. Every word, every thought, every gesture, every innovation, every creation, every city, every human creative adventure originated in the energy of emotion, which directs and defines the actions of biology, right? Some comments were filtered. Tap comments with, I see. Okay, no worries, I don't mind. Thank you so much for that. Just scrolling down here. What does 222 mean for me? I see it all of the time. Let me just give me a second here and tune into this. 222. What does 222 mean for this individual? You are completing a sequence of order. You are completing a sequence of order that's going to result. What does that change? Yeah. I Okay, they're not telling me what the change is, but you've completed a sequence of events that's going to result in a significant change in life. This is more on the positive side. Um, yes. And I'm getting a monetary component to this, and I'm getting a new person coming into this equation with you. But there's a monetary component and a new person involved in the energy of those vibrations, because again, they're not just numbers, they're functions of energy, as everything is a function of energy. Everything is a function of energy. Hi. Well, hello there. Was my newly freed dragon involved with the interstellar peace, which happened recently? Yes. Uh, yeah, I've been awesome too. Pamela, hi Pamela. Please help me understand why I am feeling anxious and trembling when I woke up. I used to have this before master classes, and now it has returned. again, we will have a chance to address that today. It will be addressed today in Masterclass 104 when you're seen today. I'm very excited about it. It's wonderful. It's because you're rebooted something from your past. You brought up something from your past that has to do with helplessness. And again, I'm not going to go any further than that because sometimes it's not right to share certain considerations of information that I get in a public forum. Hi. Thank you. We're good there. Hi. So yeah, there's a big change happening, by the way, on the planet, and we're part of it. Could I connect with someone who has passed? Yes, I can connect with someone that has passed, because they're not past, they're simply not in a physical medium of expression. Just like right now, all around you, there are hundreds of radio signals and television signals flying around you. You don't hear them. You don't recognize them. You're not even paying attention to them. They're happening everywhere we go. Why is that? Because you don't have a mechanism like a receiver that grabs that signal and pulls it into your physical realm. People that leave the physical body move on to a realm of energy that's not biological anymore. In our masterclass, we guide people in the process of how to actually connect to your loved ones, your guides, your angels, ascended masters. There's a process where you can shift your awareness from the physical realm to the energetic realms, where all those signals of loved ones and masters and teachers and God and others, there's different frequencies. And you learn to shift your awareness and perception from matter to these different frequencies. You see, your awareness, your soul, is not limited or restricted to what the eyes and ears and the body perceives. Your soul can be awakened sufficient enough that it can perceive the energy of Jesus or Buddha or your grandfather, or your aunt or your brother. You can learn to tune into their consciousness and receive information from them. And again, that's a skill that everybody has, mostly dormant, but it's one that can be reawakened and developed. We're born with clairvoyance and clairaudience, clairsentience and claircognizance, which you will learn to develop more than they currently are through the masterclass program, right? But yeah, I can connect to them. That's okay. Oh, you're very welcome. You already know the answer to that. As inside, so outside, as above, as so below. So very true. Is it beneficial to take a breathing course? Please. Actually, a breathing course, depending on who it's with, can be really beneficial for you. If the instructor and the trainer understands what the function of, because the function of taking a breathing course is not for the sake of breathing, at least what I've been taught by the Ascended Masters. The function of teaching people the practice of breathing is to help them reclaim autonomy and authority over the body and ultimately over the mind, so that the soul can begin to awaken. Because once you begin to awaken, then the function of your life changes significantly from what it is to something completely different. So any function of breathing in training has benefits to it, most certainly. But again, ultimately, the function and purpose for training one to breathe should ultimately be to assist one in awakening to their true nature, not simply as a way of relaxing. Well, that can be beneficial, but ultimately, to reclaim autonomy and authority over your mind and body leads you to liberation. Hi there. Will it be the right decision to leave Harold for good, or should I stay? Again, you're in a process, an emotional process of doubt and uncertainty. So you're having difficulty because you don't know how to access a different realm of energy. So you're making decisions from what you know and what you personally feel, and not able to step outside of that to make a decision based on what is really right for you, what is really right for the situation. And a lot of people do that. They make decisions from within the structure and framework of the personality. And that makes it really hard sometimes to make good decisions. But learning how to put what you know aside, as Buddha says, you must put aside what you know, so that you can know what you do not know. Right? That's what he says. And you need to learn how to put aside what you know, so you can get access to what you do not know. And again, you will learn the process that will lead you to gaining that kind of information and knowledge and wisdom by coming and joining us. Again, go to WilliamMichaelForbes.com. Don't waste any time. Your happiness is so important. But I send you much love and much grace to your situation, that which is best for you and all involved is that which gets precipitated into your experience. Right? That's what I'd love to see for you. Big changes. Yeah. I think I have time for one more question, and then I'm going to go make a shoe rack. My husband is back home. Is he committed now, please? Again, if I love and appreciate your question, and I know how much you love and appreciate the relationship. However, there are functions of behavior and thought that are interfering with the natural, healthy, and constructive development and evolution of your situation. Understanding how to know yourself, how to communicate from a different perspective than the one that you have both been utilizing, which is what has precipitated the fracture in the connection. And that fracture in the connection may or may not be necessary. But if he's come back, then we would simply say to you that there is a willingness, obviously, to go to a higher place in your relationship together. But you cannot get there from where you are. In other words, you must learn and know and understand very different things to learn and experience new things. Again, learning how to make the distinction between who you are, your thoughts, and your body is essential for being able to transform and change your life as an act of your own free will, and not simply under the hope that it might change if you say this or do this. Yes, very interesting. I want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out today. It's been a wonderful day. I'm going to look forward to seeing you guys on the Friday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. And again, you've only got 3 weeks to sign up for the masterclass. Get to it. Don't waste any time. Love you all. Have a wonderful, a joyful day, and I will see you again on Friday. Much love, everybody. Bye for now.